Hi, my name is Peter Lane. I'm the Director of Development for the Delta Chi Educational Foundation, and I'm joined today by my good friend Don Turk of the Florida chapter, 1968. Don sits on the Board of Directors for the Delta Chi Educational Foundation. He's currently our secretary, and he's agreed to sit down here and share a little bit of his Delta Chi story. So you're in for a real treat here. So Don, if you'll start out, if there's anything else you'd like to say, I would like to add, Don is the most newly. Okay, he's the most newly OWC Honoree. So thank you for your years of service.
Thank you.
Why did you join Delta Chi, and what was that story like?
Well, I've always said there are three things in my life that are my foundations: faith, family, and fraternity. And in fraternity, of course, is Delta Chi. When I went to college as a freshman, I knew very little about fraternity. My father had been in a fraternity, but he really never spoke about it. Never said much about it. It was a different fraternity. But my roommate and I decided to go around and visit the chapter houses during the rush week. And we found a group of guys that seemed to be really enjoying each other. They were having a good time. And so we ended up being, at that time, pledges, now associate members for Delta Chi. And I think the chapter grew over that time. We were about 20 people when I pledged.
Oh, really?
And grew into close to 100 by the time I graduated and built a new house on campus. And it gave me an opportunity to develop leadership skills, not only within the chapter, but on some campus activities as well. And it also developed for me a friendship with guys that's gone on for over 50 years. I'm part of a group of 20 guys that has been getting together now for 25 years for a weekend each year.
That's great.
And we go different places, and we've enjoyed and continued that friendship and supported Delta Chi through that activity as well.
And that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing some of that. Tell me a little bit about that friend group. You guys call it the chill, the big chill?
We call it the big chill. Started out with 12. And I said earlier 20, well, I think we're at 18.
Okay.
We've been out of the country, been East Coast, West Coast, North, South, just spending a weekend together and just enjoying our memories and fellowship.
Now, I want to take this a little bit farther because this kind of speaks to the friendship and like the brotherhood of a lifetime that we talk about a lot. You guys don't just go on a weekend trip to a lodge. You guys go and do some neat things. What was the last one you guys did? You went to Boston, I think?
The last one we went to Boston. We did things like tour Fenway Park, the JFK Library, took a duck boat ride on the Charles River. Of course, we grill steaks, have a good evening, and watch our Gator football team on TV.
Absolutely.
We have a great time.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. Now, what's kept you engaged in the organization all these years? And you're very active for most alumni. You sit on this volunteer board of directors. You gather twice a year in person for meetings. You're involved in monthly meetings. What's kept you involved over the years?
I think part of it was the example of certain men who were there when I was an undergraduate. We had three men who, if you weren't a Florida graduate, you wouldn't know who they were, but they were there all the time for us. They were solid guys. And then later on, when I retired and moved back to Florida, Russ Driscoll was there.
Oh,
a lot of
great
people seeing this will know who Russ was.
Yes.
He was another guy, just gave back. They were examples of men who gave back to those that came after them.
Okay.
Sort of paying it forward kind of thing.
Okay, great, wonderful. And so, the friendships and the model was set for you to stay involved and stay engaged. You've done, since I've known you, which is probably going on 10 years now, you were very involved in the Florida House Corporation.
Yes, for the last 10 years, I've been on the Florida House Corporation Board, president and secretary and treasurer. I've had several positions, and we're responsible for that facility. Yeah.
And you also have, we're sitting currently in the state of Florida, and I'm affectionately going to call it Don's Tournament, but it's the Delta Chi, let me get this right, Golf Classic.
Delta Chi Scholarship Golf Classic.
Scholarship Golf Classic. It's going on
benefiting the Delta Chi Educational Foundation.
Right. Now, and that takes place in Orlando, and you organize that on your own as
Yes.
a fundraiser, right?
Yes.
And so that takes up a significant amount of time and energy, but why do you continue to do that?
It's an opportunity to raise money for scholarships for the chapters of the participants, as well as to the general fund of the Educational Foundation to use for scholarships and educational development, leadership development opportunities.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for doing that out of the goodness of your heart and taking the time. You seem to really enjoy it on tournament days. You just got this big grin, and it's fun to be around you. So thank you.
It's great to see the guys having good fellowship and enjoying themselves.
And that's open to anybody. It's not just people in the state of Florida.
Absolutely. Not just Delta Chi's.
Okay.
Anybody can come. Somebody can bring their family. We have individuals who do bring their families, their sons, their spouses, and they play.
That's great. That's wonderful. Well, let me talk just a little bit to kind of wrap things up here. We are coming off the end of our winter board meeting. What are some things that you are most excited about with Delta Chi and maybe the Delta Chi Educational Foundation?
I think we're seeing a new focus on a couple of areas particularly. Leadership development, being responsible for your actions and those of the individual men around you, and additional academic scholarship opportunities.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with us. Is there anything else that you would like to say in closing?
That's pretty much it. Go Delta Chi.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.